Hey everybody, I'm David Growing the Home Garden. Sorry it's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. Got a little head cold and it knocked me out for several days, and then I just couldn't talk for several other days. It felt fine, but just, it wouldn't have made for a good video. But anyway, I'm back today and I wanted to share with you a few things that I got at the Nashville Lawn and Garden Show. I'll show you some other updates on things that are happening. It's March and spring is going on really strong here. We'll save that for other videos, but for today, let's just talk about a couple of plants that we picked up and why I picked them up, because they're really some cool plants. Let's start real quick here with this one, which everybody probably has this somewhere. This is a type of mint. This one is a Mojito mint, Mentha villosa, and it smells great. It's good for making mojitos and other things. You can use it for tea if you want to. Now the thing with mint is you don't want to necessarily just let it roam in your garden. You want to put it in a pot somewhere where it's going to be more contained. Mint has a very strong habit of spreading, and if you've got the space for it, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you don't have the space for it, it can take over. One thing mint usually likes is full sun and lots of moisture. So that's mint, and we use a lot of mint in our sweet teas in the summertime. We're here in the South, we love our sweet tea. Another thing I got was this. This is Yarrow, and this Achillea millifolium, and let's see, did they have a name for this one? But I believe it's a red flowering one. I don't see a name on it. And I love this because it attracts pollinators. All kinds of little teeny tiny bees love these flowers. And if you look at the label there, you can see what the flowers look like on it. And they really just get very attracted to these kind of flowers, whatever color you find it. You'll find a lot of common ones that are just out in the wild are white. Some will be yellow, but they've got a lot of specialty ones now that are various different colors. I used to have one called paprika, which I really loved, and so it's no longer around in my garden, and I wanted to get something that kind of looks like it, so I'm hoping this will do very well. It's got a very nice ferny foliage to it too, so it looks interesting whether or not you've got flowers on it. And it's a perennial, comes back all the time. Another one, and I fell in love with this plant when I was visiting Vizcaya down in Florida once, and this is a Salvia Lucantha. This is a Mexican sage, and you check out those leaves. They look nice. They got a little bit of a silvery hue to them. The flowers bloom on purple stalks, and it just looks amazing. So it's another one here that I'm looking forward to propagating from, because if you check out these stems right here, they are perfect for propagating. Just clip off the top of this, and then what ends up happening is the main plant will regrow more stems from this spot right here where those little leaves are poking. They'll shoot out new stems, and it will make a bushier plant. Now, one negative about this one is it will not survive outdoors in Tennessee reliably. So this will actually become more of a kind of an annual or a tender perennial that you can take cuttings from at the end of the year, or dig up and pot up and then bring indoors. So you can keep this in a pot if you want to, and then just bring it in when it's time, or put it outside as an annual. It may come back, you just never know, but I wouldn't trust it. I would take some cuttings of it toward the end of the season, root them, bring them inside, and then save them for next year. This one here I've had before, Salvia greggii, and it has some really pretty red blooms. It blooms in the fall. It's an autumn sage, and so this one, it produces lots of green foliage. You can see here it's got tons of little stems coming off of it. You can root it the same way as I told you could do the Salvia Lucantha, but it is an excellent salvia to have for fall pollination. So you want to have a few of those around, and this one can come back. I had one a few years ago. It hasn't been back since then. Obviously it died, it's no longer around, so I got a new one, but it's a very good plant. Love having it, glad to have it back in the garden. And this one here I'm really excited about. This is Comfrey. Now if you're familiar with Comfrey, Comfrey has a huge benefit to a gardener, especially vegetable gardeners, because it pulls up nutrients from the soil and puts it into the leaves, and then you can clip the leaves and either use it in your compost, make a compost tea out of it, make a comfrey tea out of it using comfrey and maybe some other things that you kind of soak into a bucket for a little while, or you can just clip the leaves and use it as a mulch. Comfrey will spread, so that can be a good thing, but you want to put it in an area where you can have that spread. So if you have the space for it, it's great. If not, put it in a large pot. Now, one thing I do look for whenever I buy plants, and I can, and in this case, I lucked out on that. But if you look right down in there, there's actually 2 plants here. One here I'm holding back with that finger, and then this one over here. So I will take these when I pot them up, and I will separate them out, spread them across the pot so they'll help to fill in together. I am going to pot these, not because I'm afraid of the spreading. I wouldn't care. I've got plenty of space for spreading. But I want to take this one with me eventually when we move, which we're hoping to be probably next year, I think, at this point now, because with building costs and everything the way it is, it's going to take a little while. But I want to take it with me. So I want to pot it up and let it grow in a pot where I don't have to worry about it and repotting it later. But you can spread, let this spread, and then separate it, divide it, and give it away to friends. So that's what I got at the Nashville Lawn and Garden Show the other day. It's cool to go to these garden shows because they've got lots of different stuff. They've got display gardens and different ways of arranging things that you can get ideas from. So it's really a lot of fun to go to these events. And anyway, I hope this video was interesting to you. These are just a few things I got. I'm going to be back with it with some other things coming. I did get my tomato plant started. I didn't really video it because I wasn't feeling great, and I needed to get those tomatoes started. They're already starting to germinate. I've got several of those coming up. An update on the peppers. The peppers have not done so well because it's old seed, so I had to restart. I do have my tomatillos. They are growing great. Even got one brown jalapeno coming up, which is doing good. So if you're following those seed starting videos that I started doing a couple weeks ago, that's a little bit of an update for that, but I'll have more coming. Just waiting for some seeds to pop up and see how those peppers are, because I may end up having to actually go out and buy new seed and start fresh. I was hoping to use some of this older seed and get it started, but it's not looking good. Seed has a certain viability to it that after a certain point it just will not grow, and I think I'm hitting that on some of these things. So that's my update for today. Hope you're doing well and hope you're getting excited about the 2022 gardening season. It is one positive thing that we can take from this crazy year that's already started. So I'm Dave with Growing Home Garden. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.